All right, welcome back. Another episode after a brief hiatus here of the Asphalt Entrepreneur. Today we got Gerry Sebby, Asphalt Authority in Fort Wayne, Indiana, correct?
Yep, you got it. And you said my name right, which was amazing too. Everyone always butchers it. It's always Gerry Sebby. So
Oh,
appreciate
really?
it. Yeah.
And, I mean, I guess you could be like a Marine or I guess a Navy, the Sea Navy.
Right. Yeah.
So we were chatting briefly here before we got started. I know you said your season's about to get starting here pretty soon. You've done some striping already. Um,
Yep.
so what's your schedule look like so far? You guys booked out? How's it looking?
Yeah. We're booked out about a couple months. We got seal coating starting on the 27th, and we're just hoping that it's going to be pretty warm. It's supposed to be pretty warm this week, so hopefully foreshadowing a really nice warm summer with a lot less rain than last year. It was pretty wet last year, but yeah, we're in a good spot with good work with a good amount of guys that are coming back. So we're blessed for that. So having the right people and the amount of jobs is important.
That's good. So basically, my format is I always like to talk to people who just started out, how they got there, their future goals. I know you just did a podcast with Marvin. So just briefly touch on like how did you get started?
Yeah, sure. So I've always wanted to work for myself, man, and I grew up blue collar. My family's been in asphalt for a long time. I've been away from my family, my immediate family, for about 15 years now. I moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Met my wife. I had a soccer scholarship out here. Ended up loving Fort Wayne, staying out here. And once I graduated college, I kind of took a sales and marketing approach, more in the corporate side of
Yep.
business. And it was cool, man. Like I learned a lot, very invaluable, but at the same time, like it wasn't for me. I was a pawn in a huge chess match, and I kind of I kind of topped out at my peak in that company, and I couldn't go any further. And I'm all about growing, so I said, I'm going to start my own business. So having the background I did with the seal coating, I decided one day, hey, I'm going to start a business here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'm going to focus on commercial seal coating. And very, very awesome first year, man. My wife's actually going to be quitting her job at the end of May to come aboard.
Nice.
And yeah, we're just growing and putting the right people in places, building the culture to just, be successful here with Asphalt Authority. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Right. So you had a little bit of background before you came into it. It
Yes.
wasn't like, holy crap, what do I do? You kind of had an idea.
Yes. Yep. It's definitely changed, but it's kind of like riding a bike a little bit,
Yeah. So your family background, was it commercial stuff? Is that why you went commercial? Or
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know. I've just found driveways great for the cash flow, man. But the commercial jobs are where it's at. You can obviously make a lot more money. So
yeah. Yep. Now you've done tremendous with your Instagram, Facebook, put out the videos. Um, so one thing when I watched your podcast with Marvin, one thing that I think people would love to know, starting out first year, how the heck did you get these 50,000 square foot jobs? So what's
sure.
the secret? Like, what'd you do?
All right. Here's the secret sauce, man. It's one part confidence because you got to act like you belong there. Because when
Right.
you walk into these bid meetings or you walk into these one-on-one meetings with these property owners, you got to first of all act like you belong there. So you got to pass the quick eye test. So for me, I kind of reverse engineered these other companies that were doing these big parking lots, right? I said, man, how are they getting lots? How can I be like them, right? So first of all, I know branding is crucial. So I really put a lot of effort into my video, a lot into my social media, things like that. But from the very first step, right? How did I land my first job? I walked in, I was confident. I said, hey, my name is Gerry Sebby with Asphalt Authority. We're the new guys in town here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I have, 15 years of experience in the asphalt maintenance industry, not in this area, but we're new around town here. We're equipped to do large commercial parking lots, industrial, commercial, and we'd love to give you a competitive quote. I networked really hard. Talked to a lot of paving companies that did not do seal coating.
Yep.
So, I kind of walked in, set up meetings there. Did a couple jobs for costs in the beginning to show that I can do quality work.
Sure.
And just worked with people that way, networked, and asked for lots of referrals, man. Just anytime I would do a parking lot, I would follow up with my customer. I would ask, hey, are you happy with the quality and everything like that? Would you mind leaving us a review? And do you know anyone else that could benefit from Asphalt Authority services? And then all of a sudden, man, like the schedule started filling up, and that's how I kind of got started on all these commercial jobs.
Wow, that's pretty good. So I know there's a bunch of technology now to find contacts. Do you use any of
Yeah.
those? Do you just old fashioned driving by a place? Hey, I stop.
To be honest, man, I'm sure there's some awesome ones out there. I did it the old school way. Like me and my
Yeah,
wife would be driving around, and she would have a clipboard with a piece of paper,
writing
and
down.
we'd be writing down addresses, man, and then cold calls and ask for
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah,
And honestly, the biggest thing, man, is like just being able to persevere through just being. You take a lot of no's in sales, if that's okay,
right.
you know. So it's like you're gonna get nowhere a lot of times, but as long as you have a decent, callback return or just a chance to set up a meeting,
Yeah, I
you
think
got to
that.
be okay with being told no.
Right. Yeah, I think that comes from being your sports background. So
Yeah.
specifically, I played college football.
Oh, cool.
So getting beat every once in a while it is what it is. Like just
Right.
don't let it get to you and just keep on plugging. So the
It's
same
part
thing.
of the game.
Yeah, you're gonna hit a lot of no's.
Exactly.
But if you get down on shit, I got another no, another no, another no, like you're gonna be dead.
Exactly, man. So you can't let it bring it down. You can't let it bring you down too much. And you just gotta, like, when you're in business for yourself, you have to get sales. So it's like
Right.
you gotta keep your pipeline full. You gotta
Yeah.
keep it full at all times. Like you gotta be putting estimates out. You gotta be making calls. If you're not doing that, you're not gonna grow. So
Yep. Now, your first year, did you send out estimates to people that weren't necessarily looking? Like you say, drive by like
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I definitely would, man. And then the other thing I would do too. So this is something I wanted to talk to you about a little bit, and I think it's kind of important. So like us as business owners, right? If we're going to hire someone to do a project for us, right? We might call, 2 to 3 guys, and first guy might show up, and he might be all right. He might know a little bit. He might send it a week later, might follow up. So decent experience, right? Another guy might not call you at all. You might just get a random email on a Thursday with your scope of work and price and all that. So
yeah,
that's how some people do it. And then you might have this third guy, right? And this third guy, he might call you. He might set up an appointment. He might come with a brochure. He might look nice. He might have a nice, truck wrap. He might tell you, hey, I'm going to send you the estimate at 5 o'clock later this afternoon. It comes in at 4 o'clock. He follows up. Like he hits every single effort metric, right?
yeah,
And none of that requires any skill. It's all effort. But who are you going to hire, man? Like
yeah.
I'm going to hire the professional. I'm going to hire the guy that passes the eye test. So that was really important for me this last year, I'm sorry, was just, I think that's one of the biggest things is why we got a lot of commercial work, because we're at an advantage where I could do those things where some of
Right,
the bigger companies couldn't because they're
yeah,
just so freaking busy.
right, yeah,
Like how many times can an owner go out to, a parking lot and meet with someone the next day after they do an online lead submission? That's
right,
kind of rare.
yep,
And then also too, the last thing is, since it was our first year, we could literally do a job the next week, which is a
yeah.
huge
You're
advantage
open.
for
Yeah,
small guys. So
yeah,
like people would lose their mind. They're like, so when are you thinking? Like let's say they called me in like May, I meet with them May 15th. They're like, so when are you thinking? Like maybe September? I'm like, no, how about next week? They're like, what? So I mean, that's pretty cool too in this day and age in the construction industry too. So I mean, those are the biggest things I focus on.
yeah. So when you first started out, back up a little bit. When you first started out, what'd you get started with? You had did you
Yeah.
buy a
So I
tank?
bought a Seal Right. Yep, I bought a Seal Right 700 gallon.
Yep,
Um, great spray tank. It's got a spray bar on the back, which we ended up using a lot. I got a bulk tank, which just helped me with the amount of volume I was doing.
yep,
And then I had a single wand sim line, which definitely saved up for. But
yep,
that really, really helped my crack filling, just
yeah,
doing it at a high production. So I'm actually moving to a double wander this year. And I got with the 700, we got that taken off a trailer. We're having mounted on a truck, and then we're going to have a 1,500-gallon truck as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we made some big upgrades this year.
Yeah, yeah. I looked a few times. My dad actually has always been pushing me. He's like, get a tank, get a tank, get a tank.
Yeah,
In the past, it sounded like a great idea because it was for me to get seal. It was probably an hour and a half round trip. 2 years
yeah,
ago, which I switched from Naira to Sealmaster, which I like Naira better, but Sealmaster now opened up 5 minutes from my house.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, so I'm like,
awesome.
I'm not buying a bulk tank now.
Yeah, right.
It's so quick to get
That is your
in
bulk
and out.
tank, 5 minutes
Yeah,
away.
yeah, save my money there. But how do you like the sim line?
You know what, man? I've heard a lot of mixed reviews.
Yeah, same here.
So what I've noticed on the sim line is if you have all of your controls dialed in and you have a guy that is manning the same machine every single day and he's not playing with things, he's not jacking up the temperature to get it going,
Right.
and you're patient, it's a really good machine. So what we did was we dialed in all of our settings before the year started, where we needed to be. We timed everything of how long it takes. We figured out how many blocks you can throw in at a time so it can
Yep.
agitate and not make the rubber go cold. And we got it down to a science, so it worked out really well for us. Now I know some other people that have absolutely had the worst experiences with them.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, man, I think that they're not great high production machines. I think the craft goes are the way to go. That's something that I'm going to shoot for in the future.
Yeah.
Those craft goes are, man, they're so durable too.
Right. Yep. Now, when you started out, you immediately thought no residential. Or do you do residential or none of
Yeah,
that?
we do.
You
We
do?
do residential.
Yeah.
And I love driveways. It's just we just don't get a lot based off
Yeah.
like the marketing and stuff we've put together.
Yep. Yeah. See, around here, there's a few bigger companies, T&K, US Pavement, which is the 800 number guys, a couple other bigger guys. They water down well, I shouldn't say watered down. They control the market of commercial. So I mean, they're doing jobs for stupid money,
Pennies.
stupid
Right.
money. Like they'll
Yeah,
do,
that's tough, man.
yeah, I mean, they'll do a two-coat job, two coats, 15 cents a square foot for everything. So
Ooh, yeah,
yeah, so basically 7.5 cents a square foot. It's
that's
like,
tough, man.
yeah, it's ridiculous. But I do both. I like residential just because you said cash flows. It's great. When I'm doing the
Yes.
job, I either get cash in my hand or a check right then.
Yeah.
It's nice. Yep.
Yeah, it is, man. And people are so much, I don't know, for some reason they have so much more pride in their driveway where they're like, they want to tell people, hey, like Eric killed it. My driveway looks so good.
Yeah.
Where it's like the parking lot, it's more of like a chore.
Right.
It's like something they have to do because someone told them they needed to go out and find someone to do it. Where it's a driveway, it's like, it's almost like more rewarding, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep. I know. I
So,
see the people always complain like, "Oh, just the driveways, guys. Just well, Prestige Seal Coating. I'm sure you've seen those guys.
yeah,
I do
those
like
guys are awesome,
3,000
man.
like 3,000 driveways a year.
It's the best driveway seal coating company
Oh, yeah.
I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
they're so efficient too, man.
Right.
And they're just good people.
Yeah, it's amazing what they do. Absolutely amazing.
It's incredible.
So what are you using for seal? Are you coal tar still in Indiana, or is that gone?
No, coal tar is still around in Indiana. We're way behind the times. Indiana is a really conservative place, man. I think we just got alcohol sales on Sundays about 5 years ago or something. So coal tar is not going anywhere around here. I've used Seal Master for half of last season. It was gem seal kind of stuff. But then I switched to pitch black sealer.
Yep.
And I'm really happy with pitch black. It's a great color, good durability. So I'm using asphalt emulsion right now.
Yep, I've heard good stuff about that. The pitch black stuff.
Yeah, Dark Force is the pitch black supplier in Michigan. I know that.
Yep. Yeah, we switched over last year for the coal tar issue. Seal Master pulled back their coal tar to basically allow people at the end of the year to go further into the season.
Sure.
So middle of the season was the AE, which I was kind of skeptical at first, but I actually loved it because I didn't get burned. There was no smell. It was great to work with.
It is a good sealer to work with.
We'll see. So did you use it all for more than one season or the AE? How does it hold up?
So all the parking lots that I've looked at that I've done last year look amazing. I can't speak on the PMM Ultra with Seal Master because we didn't even use that last season. We used Black Diamond, the LP sealer, for a little bit of last year. Then we switched to pitch black, but really happy with the parking lots, man. They look great. The driveways are just stupid black still. They look awesome.
Yep.
So yeah.
Now, what are you guys doing for like drive lanes, entrances? You guys do 2 coats, 3 coats? What do you guys do in the drive lanes and stuff?
So every coat we do on all parking lots, I always do 2 coats regardless.
Yep.
And then we'll spray heavy second coat on drive lanes and then set the realistic expectations for our customers,
right,
based on the amount of traffic you're going to see here. It is a preventative product.
Right.
It is not a completely blackout for life. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's all about expectations. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we spray heavy second coat in the drive lanes.
Yep. Now, when did you go to your spray bar? Did you start off with a spray bar, or did you work with it previous and
Yeah.
then go to it?
So with my background, we've used spray bars for a long time.
Okay.
My family was one of the first companies actually to make their own spray bar
Oh,
way
really?
back in the day. This was early 2000s. Yeah. So have some familiarity with spray bars. I got my seal rate machine fitted with one. I just think that how important they are, man, and they
Yeah.
can just do a lot of ground. So we started off with one and ended up using it all season. So
Now, you said you have the 700 trailer, correct?
yeah, we have a 700 trailer. We took off the trailer. We mounted it on a truck now.
Yeah.
So it's so much easier to do a spray bar not having to back up a trailer.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
It was tough, man. Yeah, so we're really happy to have that on the truck now.
It's funny. I've been actually thinking this year. I want to do so. Right now, I have a E450, 2007
Okay,
E450 with a 550 tank on it. I've had that forever, but I want to put on a trailer
gotcha.
for residentials because I have one of the guys that helps me out. He's a firefighter, so he works 2 days a week, and he can either pick up overtime at the station or he works with me. So
Okay,
if I had a trailer, he could just hook up to it and go.
yeah,
And then if I was doing something, I could just go take the truck. So, but I personally like the truck mounted tank way better.
yeah. Well, those trailers, man, like you can find a used one on like a Facebook group now for a
Yeah.
pretty decent price. They were kind of inflated last year, but
Right.
you can find some good deals on there.
So what truck did you put the 700 tank on?
Yeah, so we have mostly Chevys,
Yep.
but we got Chevy 2500 HD, which we have. It's like the extended work truck, which we use for the rubber machine. We have a GMC Sierra with 480,000 miles on it. Still runs like a champ. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then we have 452. So it
Yep.
does everything we need it to, and then we have a striping trailer too. So we just kind of rotate the trucks around when we need them and make it work.
So the truck's diesel or gas?
We have one diesel truck and two gas trucks.
Yep. So mine's a diesel. I'm actually trying to go away from the diesel.
Yeah.
The guy I know up in Maine was diesel, and then he bought I believe it's a Chevy 4500, the LCF,
Mm-hmm.
with I think it's a 6.0 gas.
Mm.
He has a 700 tank on it, and he said it pulls it no problem. But I mean,
Yeah.
the new Chevy engines are nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been thinking about doing that just to cut down. Like the maintenance on the diesel sucks. Like,
It does, man. Yeah, it definitely does.
so I'm just trying to get rid of that. So what are your plans going forward? How big you want to get? You want to get massive? What do you want to do?
Man, that's the age-old question, you know? So it's like bigger is not always better.
Right.
Because like the more money you make, you know, less profit margins you typically have. So it's like, I don't know. That's a great question, man. I mean, I have like goals that I've set for myself in year two from a financial standpoint and like my growth and year over year percentages and stuff like that. But I don't want to ever get to the point where, you know, it's not something that I have control over. It has control over me. And,
Right.
you know, I left my job to start my business to have some type of a freedom. And I don't want to lose that. So
Yeah.
especially with, you know, a wife who's joining and then a 10-month-old son.
Right.
It's important to me to have winners. You know, I want to enjoy like the appeal of the seal coating industry in Indiana is like I work really, really, really hard, but then I have some time off with my family. And when that
Right.
starts changing and those off seasons shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink, it's like, you know, that's not for me, you know?
Yeah. I've answered the same question before, pretty much the same way. I always said like, yeah, it'd be cool to be massive, have a lot of equipment, a lot of guys, but then again, like you said, like your profit margin is not there.
Exactly.
So like, I don't know. I've talked to a few guys, and I think they've all said the same thing. If you can stay between like one guy has himself and three other guys that I spoke to about this. Another guy's a little bit bigger, but they all said like if you can stay between 500,000 and 1.5, 2 million.
It's such a good sweet spot. I agree, man.
Yep. I think that's like I think if I was to answer that again, I think I would say I'd probably go by profit margin. If I'd go as
Yes,
big as I could as long as I keep the profit margin where I wanted it. And like you said,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's where I'm at too, man. I couldn't agree more. I think that's really where I would like to be as well.
yeah, yeah. How did you get in? Do you do your own editing for your videos and stuff? Do you have somebody that edit it for you?
Sure. So a little bit about my background is I was a team leader for a sales team for Verizon Wireless for 8 years.
Yeah,
And I had a guy that used to work for me who was really, really talented. And I hired him actually at Verizon. And when I left, he ended up leaving. And I really encouraged him to start his own video editing full time.
yeah,
He had it on the side, but he does amazing work. He's a good friend of mine. And so when I started my business, I said, hey man, here's like what I want to do. Um, you let me know like how much it'll cost to have you around for a lot of the summer.
yeah.
You know, understand I'm just starting out, but I want to help you out too. So I had a guy come with me, fly drones, shoot awesome video, and that is something that I will always do every single season. I think it's so important.
Yeah,
Just
no,
building the brand I wanted to build.
yeah, especially now. That's the go-to thing. Videos.
It is, man.
It's great. I'm helping one of my buddies who has a pretty good sized landscaping company right now. And he's old school. Like he does, I think last year they did like 1.7. But
Wow,
he
that's
does it,
crazy.
and there's only like I want to say there's eight guys, 10 guys, but he literally runs it. He keeps track in a binder, like a foot.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got to step up a little
You
bit.
know what though? Some of those old school dudes, like sometimes you can't teach an old dog new
Yeah.
tricks, but those old tricks still work pretty well, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
So,
how my family's business is back home too.
yeah. Yeah. I told him, like,
Yeah.
you just keep doing it that way since you've done it that way forever. Like, but like the marketing side, you got to like step it up, like spend some money and get a guy to follow you guys around, like do some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
I
get
think that's
him.
important.
Yeah, I mean, I told him that'd be huge for you.
Yeah, for sure. So like if you've been in the industry for a while, you have that book of business where it's like I can see if you're doing 1.7, you're like,
Yeah,
do I need it? No. But like if you're new and starting out, like the average consumer, if they need a product or a service, will go to Google and type in blah 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 near me. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
if you're not ranking towards the top and if your website and social media is not on point, it's like they'll just go with the next guy that is.
yeah, yeah. So his thing is crazy. Like his thing is like they probably have. I'm gonna say only probably 11 commercial accounts, but he does all high end stuff. So like
Wow.
super expensive, and he's been all his commercial accounts. He's been with like 20 years or more.
It's
He's been,
incredible.
yeah, and he just it's amazing the amount of money that they bring in with 8 to 10 guys and the amount of business he has. It's like you're set up perfect.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like he wants to sell, so he wants to like kind of grow a little bit in the next couple of years to sell.
Sure.
You gotta do some like you gotta get today's date. Like you gotta you gotta get to the
Right.
new age. You can't be stuck in the old age. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's been an experience like stepping into the video stuff. Like I don't do any video. I mean, I do my own videos, but nothing crazy. Um,
Hmm.
but I like the idea. I've been actually looking to see if I can find like a high school kid or a local college
Yeah.
that's into that stuff. Yeah, see if he can
It's
come
a
around.
great idea, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this guy do all your videos for you? He does the videos and edits them and just says, "Here you go."
Yeah. So we negotiate a certain amount of videos for the workable year. We kind of break those down. So, for example, it'd be like, hey, you know, we'll do 4 videos a week for 5 months, blah, blah, blah. So I have like professional stuff. And then he'll send me all the raw footage in a Google Drive where I have access to edit my own stuff for like stupid, like trending audio reels
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And then my guys will also like shoot little videos and we'll like collaboratively like put together some stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of content, man. And then I try to save stuff for the off season too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the guys, how many guys do you have working with you?
yeah, so we're gonna have 6 guys full time this year. Um, so yeah, well, I think based off how many guys we have and the amount of work in our machines, that we should be able to do really anything we need to. So
Nice. Do you have a goal of like what you do per week, like square footage wise or revenue wise or anything like that? You guys?
to be honest, just keep the schedule full every single day, man.
Yep.
Just Doesn't matter what we're necessarily doing, but as long as we're coming in, we're punching in, and we're collecting a driveway or $100,000, I don't know, huge multi, I don't know, shopping complex, whatever it is. Like it's just as long as we're keeping the books full, you know.
Yeah. Now, do you have a? Everyone has a favorite thing to do. Do you have a favorite thing to do? Whether it be striping, cracks, seal coating.
You know what, man? I would say probably like none of it. But no, I would say striping, to be honest. It's so rewarding putting the cherry on top.
Yeah.
I love striping. I hate how finicky my machines were last year with my water-based paint. Switched over to oil-based paint this year, so that's been nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But to be honest, it's kind of crazy. I kind of like the cleaning and crack filling.
Yeah.
It sounds weird. It sounds weird, man, but like that's the first step. Like, and you walk on a parking lot, it's gross. You clean it, and you're like, oh, this looks nice. And then you fill in all the cracks, and you're like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that the most, I feel like. And then seal coating, I have a guy on my team who's he literally loves seal coating. Like
Good.
he just lives for it. Like he'll like watch videos about it. He's a student of the game, man. So that's cool. So I just kind of let him do that and he kills it.
I kind of like the seal coating thing too. Only because I'm like an instant gratification person. Like I like to see like oxidized and then all of a sudden black.
I will say that is very gratifying.
Now, what do you use for stripers? You using Graco or Titan or?
Yep, we're using Graco 3900s.
Yep.
And we got 2 line drivers. We got 3 3900s, 2 line drivers.
No, starting out, did you stripe at your parents or your family or whatever, or did you just learn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I had a history of doing some striping, and then I mean, just take your time, snap chalk lines, use some shingles, and line it up, man. That's the only way to learn is to just do it and do it and do it.
Yeah.
So,
yep, that's the one thing I hate. I hate striping. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, it is cool to see it like going down, but like it can turn a great looking lot into a shitty lot really fast.
So yeah, that's a great point too, because like a restripe after you seal coat, like cool, man. You have a little bucket of sealer, you can fix a little mistake here and there. But like when you're striping for paving companies and they have these massive, layouts with, radius curves, it's like that can be, a little stressful.
Yeah. No, you do. Are you doing those too?
I do. Unreluctantly, it's something that we're getting a lot better at, but I would rather stick with striping on seal coating. But yeah, we did a lot of new layouts last year too.
Yeah.
Really, really pushed ourselves. So
that's what I did. I turned down all new layouts. Just stick with the stuff that I've sprayed. Like, I mean, you can see the lines. It's To be honest, man, that's very tempting for me. It's very tempting to go that route. I just felt like it took like. I mean, there's guys out there. There's a guy, well, not my town, but like a few towns over, Charles Baker, who CMB Pavement Services. I mean,
I think I've heard of him. Yeah,
because I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. Just because I know him, I think he's probably the best striper there is in the country. Like, he does amazing work. Like, it's friggin' impressive. So I guess if you're at that level and you can just lay out a lot like that, no problem. But to go out there and like for me. Yeah, I'll leave it to those guys.
Yeah,
I'll just do the stuff I can see on the ground.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It is. There's a science to it, and some of those guys are unbelievable, man. They just see that blueprint, and it's like they have these auto layouts and lasers, and the next thing you know, it's like they've striped this massive parking lot, and I'm just trying to get the baseline, measured out still.
Do you have guys do the striping, or do you do it yourself?
It's both. I'll do striping, and then I have another guy who is pretty good, so he's going to be a full-time this year for me. My goal this year, honestly, Eric, is I'm taking a step back from the work, putting the people and places and things all together, and I'm going to say, hey, this is what you guys have for the day, and I'm just going to kind of think more big picture this year, getting a lot of sales in, a lot of estimates, and so that's my focus.
Was this guy a background of striping, or did you kind of teach him?
I taught him, and he's been spraying car painter. So he's got a real good hand on his stenciling and things like that. And he's a smart kid, young kid, but he's smart, retains things well, and he's got good detail.
Do you guys use lasers, or you just free eye it?
It depends. We do have a laser. We don't use it enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what's up, buddy? What's up, buddy?
There you go.
Oh, nice.
No, no.
Yeah, so we have some lasers. We don't use them as much as I'd really like to.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things I would like to get. I want to use the technology in the striping more.
Yeah.
Because we have one machine that's auto layout. It's our brand new one. We've only used it twice because we just got it a couple months ago. But I would love to get the auto layout feature going on that as well.
Yep. A couple of questions. One would be programs like Spot on Site, Hayden and those guys. Do you guys use anything like that? Do you give out like assessments for customers?
Yeah. So I've looked into Spot on Site a little bit. Nothing against it at all. But I kind of have like my own way of doing it that kind of includes most of the features on it. There's a little bit more legwork in it. I actually wouldn't be opposed to trying it on a trial just to kind of see what it's about.
Yeah.
But I use Google Earth and then I edit it, my pictures on like a PDF editor, and then I'm attaching those via my estimates I'm sending out through QuickBooks. So
yeah. Now what about proposals? Do you have a template yourself? Do you use like a thing like Pavement Pro type thing, or what do you do?
You know what? I kind of have a template I use. It's kind of like a plug and play template.
Yep.
But yeah, that's something that actually I would like to get more used to using. I just think it looks so nice, man, when you have a real professional proposal like that. So
yeah, the Pavement Pros, I liked it.
yeah,
it makes it easy. Like you said, professional. You can make it look really nice. Yep. Yeah, it's cool stuff there. I don't know. Anything else you got to throw in there for the newbies?
Man, honestly, you just the biggest thing when you're new, man, like my advice to someone who's also new is like you can't be scared.
Right.
Like you just cannot be scared. Like everyone wants the big commercial jobs, but like they're not walking in and trying to make it happen because they're just like thinking they can't do it. Like if you need to mobilize 5 times, put it in your price, tell the customer, and just get the job done. And just gotta have confidence. Yeah. It's like one of the biggest things is like and walking into a meeting, like be prepared, like have a site map ready to go, have it color coded, already know their business hours, tell them it's not going to affect, their operating hours. We can do it on this time or this day, and like just go in and you just got to go in the mentality that you're going to get it.
Yeah.
That easy.
Yep. And saying stuff like that made me think of 2 other things. One, big commercial lots. Do you have ride-on blowers? Or are you guys still doing sweepers? What are you guys doing to clean the lots?
Yeah, we have a stand-up Skag windstorm.
Yep.
We have like 5 push blowers, and I want to get a sweep master next season. I think that would be huge. But we're just old school brushes, and that Skag windstorm was really nice. Yep. And then that's how we clean lots.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing, I know we talked about driving around, writing down addresses and stuff like that. Well, and then technology. We talked a little bit about technology. There's a cool app called OnX Hunt. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't. No.
So it's an app. I'll bring it up here in a second. Where I don't know where this location is right now, but it shows you who owns every property with an address and everything. I don't know if you can see it. So,
wow, that's incredible, man.
Yeah. So you click on those, it'll give you the mailing address and name, everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Technology is so cool, man.
Oh, it's amazing.
I'll plug one out real quick for you guys. Really cool one I love. There's this app called Circuit, and it was made for delivery drivers. So a lot of Amazon guys use it. But it automatically, like you'll just punch in like 10 addresses and it'll reorganize your route the most efficiently. And you have a starting and stopping point. So when I first started, I was driving around aimlessly with a piece of paper with addresses on it. And I would notice, I was like, oh man, I skipped 2 of these to drive to that one. But it literally will cut down your estimate times if you have, like a whole list to do, and you can just be super efficient. And it's there's a free version, but there's also a paid version. I think it's like $5 or $10 a month, but it's totally worth it.
Circuit was called, right?
Circuit, yep, awesome app.
I'll check that out. So, All right, well, I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit here.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on. I know the season's starting up pretty soon. We're gonna starting up end of April, 1st of May, similar to you guys. So hopefully it's a good one for you guys, and stay safe and have fun. All
I appreciate that, man. Right back at you, bro.
right, thanks for coming on.
Yep. See ya.
See you later.